There's a very good chance that you've made this domino building mistake too. What's up, Domino community? My name is Lily Hevish, and today I will be sharing 5 mistakes that domino builders make and how you can fix them. Now, these are all really common errors that builders make. I make these errors. So many people in the comments of my last video said that they also made these errors. You're not alone. We're all a community. We're going to learn together. We're going to relate to one another in sharing our failures and hopefully learn something so we can become a better builder. All right, let's get into our top 5 domino building mistakes. Number 1, you built all the structures last. It's actually very risky to start building tall structures when you have other things already built around it on the ground. Because hopefully this doesn't happen, but if you knock it down by accident, that structure is going to crumble and hit other things and knock it down potentially in the wrong direction and ruin your setup. So to avoid this, if at all possible, I recommend building the structures first, or if you're building a structure, make sure it's very far away from anything else near it. And one thing you can do is put barriers to kind of separate your projects. Even if it's temporary, you can always take out that barrier later once you've finished building the project, and then hopefully it should be good to go. Number 2, your building surface is dirty or uneven. It is super important that whatever you're building on is a smooth, clean surface without any bumps, cracks, or hairs. Anything that's going to like mess up a domino when you stand it up, just like don't build on that surface. And whenever possible, please clean your surface. If that means vacuuming or Swiffering, mopping the floor, like I always recommend cleaning your floor before you build. Trust me, this comes from personal experience. It is the worst to build dominoes on a dirty floor. It's really unpleasant when you go to set down a domino and you think it's going to stand up, but then it doesn't because the floor was just dirty. So please clean your floor. It's worth the extra 5 minutes, trust me. Number 3, you're toppling structures wrong. It is a very common mistake to topple structures from the bottom instead of closer towards the top. The problem with knocking down a structure from the bottom is that there's too much weight on top of it for it to actually topple over. Or you might be toppling the structure with something that's too light so it doesn't actually push over the dominoes. If you decide to topple it from the bottom, just make sure that whatever you're toppling your structure with is heavy enough and far enough away from the structure that it's not going to just lean on it. Instead, you want that to actually push through the wall completely. So do some tests, make sure it is reliable, and then use it in a larger project. Now, if your structure is very tall, like over 1 meter or 1 yard, I recommend toppling it with string instead of knocking it down from the bottom with something heavy. With string, you can actually pull out a domino from the structure, which will actually make the entire thing collapse. But the trick is, you have to take out the right domino in the structure. I would recommend taking out a domino that's between 5 to 7 layers from the top. This is typically the most optimal point in the structure to take out because there's enough dominoes on top of that it can crumble into the rest of the structure and knock it down. Yet at the same time, there's not too much weight on top of it that when you take it out, it's still gonna stay in place. To make this even more reliable, you can take out multiple dominoes in the structure. Sometimes I like to take out 2 if I want to be really sure that it's going to fall. Just make sure that when you connect the string to another domino, make sure you use a taller domino or even a field starter to pull the string, or have the domino fall off a ledge so it can fall down, and that's enough to pull the string a larger distance. Number 4, you're unaware of your body as you're building. It is really easy to accidentally knock down a domino because you didn't see where your arm was or your leg was a little bit too close to a domino project. It is really easy to accidentally knock down your project just by doing the smallest thing, like turning around or standing up or building something and your arm turns and your elbow knocks it down, or your foot is just like a little bit too close to your project. Like, there's so much that could go wrong. It is so important that you know where everything is. Sometimes when I'm building and I need to reach into a small space, I'll do a body check. Like, before I even go to reach and place the domino, I'll assess where my body is and I'll know exactly how much space I have to fill in a domino. And that way I feel much more comfortable building something that's very risky because I've already like gone through the hoops of knowing like, okay, I'm in this spot and now I know because I've checked everything, like I'm not going to knock it down because I'm safe. And number 5, you have pets roaming around. This one is pretty self-explanatory. If you have a dog or a cat or something that's just like roaming around your house, you might want to like close the door or add a gate or some sort of barrier so that they can't come in and knock down the dominoes. And I know that can be hard if you're building spaces in an open area. Maybe there's a way you can like fence it off. Honestly, in the past, I've actually used domino containers as a gate so that my dog couldn't walk into the setup. If you don't actually have a gate, you can be creative and make another kind of gate. I've had my fair share of my own dog knocking down my dominoes, and it's not good. So, the struggle is real when you have pets. Now, if you can think of any other mistakes that you've made as a domino builder, please let us know in the comments, share it with the community. Let's learn from each other and help one another become a better builder. I will definitely be making more videos in this series, so suggestions are always welcome. In case you missed part 1 and 2, you can click right over here to watch those. Our featured community member is Mahajan Aryan Dominoes. Thank you for being part of this community and leaving this comment. And as always, I'm Lily Hevish, and keep on building.